be seeing a departure. It's 29 minutes past, so I'm going to press the go live button.
Perfect.
And it's like hi guys, Nicola here
Hi guys, it's Teresa here.
from Conscious Crypto Traders, and we are live, and we're looking at Ethereum possibly starting to lead the market now, especially for August, whereas Bitcoin has usually been the leader. Teresa's got some really exciting stuff to say about how the whole bull bear cycle may shift, and we may not be seeing those cycles exactly as they are. So stay tuned for that. We're going to look at price action, obviously, for Ethereum and Bitcoin and XRP. And if you've got any altcoins and we've got time, put that in the comment section and we will take a look at those, since we're talking about are we now entering into the second altcoin season of this bull market? Is there anything you want to add, Teresa, before we move on?
I just think this is going to be one of the best conversations we've had, because I've had some paradigm shifting stuff happen in the recent days, especially watching some of Willy Woo's recent stuff. And so this one's going to blow your mind, guys.
Yeah. We've also got some really exciting news on the Conscious Crypto event. We've given you another week to get the early bird special before the ticket price starts going up every fortnight. But what I wanted to show you is we have a new speaker coming on board. And it's so exciting because, we talk about Saturn retrograde and how we're following Saturn retrograde pattern. So we've entered a whole new panel, super special, on the secrets in consciousness to guide you to the legendary life in crypto. And Oshu from Astro Finance, who has a method of using astrology to help predict where the market is going and has been really accurate. He's going to be sharing that with us in this panel, and we're going to dive deep into the mysteries of the universe and how can we harness those mysteries or align to those mysteries to become better in flow with universe and better in flow with consciousness. Because guys, this is consciousness, isn't it, Teresa?
Yeah, when you really look at the markets, all it is a bunch of people trading or buying or selling, right? And so that is impacted by global consciousness, right? And we know that we as human beings are impacted by the planet. That's now scientifically proven. So a lot of the stuff that astrologers used to say that people thought was really woo-woo, they're now realizing, there's actually a lot of statistics and studies to show that this stuff actually makes sense. And we see a lot of that recently, where there's a convergence between the stuff we used to think is woo-woo and science now proving the woo-woo stuff as actually being statistically valid, which is really cool.
Really cool. And when you look at this golden Fibonacci line here that we have just got rejected of Ethereum, as we've broken out of this W pattern, and we have confirmed the neckline as support, and now we've come back up and we're getting ready to shoot up. How does the price action, how do the traders know to stop buying and start selling at that specific price? Right? How do they know that? That's consciousness, and that's collective consciousness. There's a lot of scientific data out there that shows that in our subconscious, we have a super conscious connection and a connection to collective consciousness. So we're going to explore this conversation really deeply at the Conscious Crypto event coming up in October. You want to get your tickets, the link for that is below. And because we want the edge, right? If you ever find a way of knowing, when we're going to go down and when we're going to go up and what have you, it's going to change the way you trade a little bit and maybe not get wrecked as much.
Yeah, I love that W.D. Gann quote. He's one of the most famous traders of all time. He was considered one of the winningest traders of all time. And I don't know if I have the quote exact, but he used to say, successful traders ignore astrology. Really successful traders pay attention to it. Yeah. So, some of these broader scale things that are going on in the market, the things that affect the price action, the scenarios, like paying attention to, Ethereum just became the lead indicator, paying attention to that stuff. That becomes really important to the difference between making some money and making a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to say hello to ETH Crypto Lancy, obviously an ETH fan. So, the live stream is right up your alley. Although we will do Bitcoin, XRP, and any altcoins that we can get on our trading view chart if you put them in the chat box. But basically, we're talking about ETH is starting to emerge as the market leader, quite often breaking out, and then Bitcoin following. And the fractal that we're following, just briefly, is down the bottom is this Saturn retrograde, which happened last year in 2020 on the 10th of May, and we went progressive on the 28th. In between that time, we've got these fractals of trading that we have been mirroring perfectly up in this black area here in 2020. You want to look at Saturday and Sundays live streams on the monthly and the weekly candle close to get the details. But we're right here, guys. See where we've got the 2nd of August is a potential rally to the upside. According to the pattern that we had in 2020, we have now got that rally, and we are approaching the somewhere between now and maybe the 10th of August. We're approaching this beginning of a Bart Simpson. So if we look down here on the 20, the 2020 fractal, we had a nice rally, which is what we're getting right now, and then we shot up. So it's possible that if we keep following the pattern that we have been so far, that we are about to shoot up any day now. And we're following that. We're going to watch that and we're going to see. So right now we're rallying. Here's the rally on the daily. And now we're just touching the golden ratio at 2,740. And we've got a couple of patterns that are playing out. We've now confirmed the W, right? We said, and we're getting ready to shoot up to get to where the W target is, which is 2,974 approximately. Then we've got this bigger pattern that we've been in for a couple of months, which we broke out of a while ago. Didn't really come back down to retest the support, but we tested this Fibonacci level here and found support here around 2242 and have gone up from there. That target is 3257. So if you're not already in a long from the bottom here or the breakout here, which is we've been saying every day, there's plenty of opportunities to long in this because we've got a big move here. Or if you didn't trade this candle here, or if you didn't trade this breakout here, we are literally at that point where you could enter this trade and still there would be some profit in it for you. Since we're getting rejected off of the golden ratio, I would personally, I would be waiting to get above it, a clear bottom green candle above that Fibonacci level, approximately 2,761, which would bring you to, that's a 20% increase, right? Hang on, let me just do that tool again because I ran out of room. If we come up above here, you enter the long there and you come up here and yeah, that's 19%. And then obviously if you're 10xing it, then that's 190%, which is a decent trade. So you're not too late on this is what I'm saying. Let's look at the 4 hour and then we look at the Ichimoku. So this could be a bull flag forming. I always put my lines in to just see what can happen. But however, we haven't retraced back down to this ascending channel that we were in. So we do have not a danger, but just be wary that we could retrace. And if we bounce back off of this line, that's another good entry point for the long. And that's the biggest reason why I'm saying I wouldn't long here. I would wait till we get above this resistance line because if you get in now and we reverse back down, you could have got a better entry point. Anything you want to say about that, Teresa, before I bring in Ichimoku?
I just can't wait to see ETH leading the pack. This is going to be an exciting month, actually, because when ETH leads the pack, we get a different energy in the market. I don't know if you've noticed that in past, but it actually could be ETH that pulls Bitcoin out of the doldrums, because ETH tends to perform really, really well when it's leading the pack. So let's see what happens here. This could be an exciting month.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're on the 4 hour, so let's go to the 4 EMA. So we've crossed over right here. So this was the top we got. If you're using the 4 EMA indicator, for those of you who are new, you want to come down and get the 4 EMA at Filicone on TradingView. Link for TradingView is below if you don't have it yet. And this is set to, let me go here, show your settings here. You want to set the top to go blue, then green, then yellow, then red, because when we're blue, green, yellow, red on the 4 hourly, that means we've got a big long coming in. And when it's in reverse, red, yellow, green, blue, then that is a big short coming in. And then your inputs, you want to change length 1 to 8. So that these are the moving averages that we are watching. So we just crossed here, and we've got blue, green, yellow, red, which is bullish, which means this would have been the time to enter the long. And I would just be waiting, because if we get a retracement, as I said before, you could get a better entry or above there. So that's looking bullish. If we bring in the Ichimoku, I think the Ichimoku is also bullish. We've got the conversion line above the baseline at the bottom. We've got the green cloud ahead of us. There's no shifting over into the red cloud. We've got the lagging span is above the cloud. So we are above the resistance here on the 4 hourly. So then if we go down onto the 1 hourly, see where we have a decline on the Ichimoku cloud? That doesn't necessarily mean we will get a decline in price, but sometimes we can do. So that's why I would be watching to get a better entry point for this long. But this is a big one, guys. So you want to get ready and just choose your entry points, as I've mentioned before, where they are, and you've got your targets. So Teresa, if I just go back to the daily to set you up for the amazing news that you found out. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're liking what we're saying, we'd love for you to like the video, help us out. If you're new, we're a tutorial channel. So we're teaching you technical analysis, mindset strategies, as well as scenario trading strategies. So things that you need to look at on price action. And Teresa's about to talk to us about a change in the wind. Not just here, you'll see Ethereum was the first to break out of the big 2.5 month long trading doldrum. So it led the way. Bitcoin looked like it was going to go down a little bit further, but then it turned around and it got pulled up by Ethereum. However, we're not out of the doldrums for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is still in the big pattern it's been in for 2.5 months, which is it has not gone past this golden ratio of between 41 and 42. Whereas ETH has already started to break through some key resistances, and we're right up against the next one. So that could pull us into a second altcoin season for August. But things are changing, aren't they, Teresa? I mean, you hear everybody say, oh, it's going to be different this time because we've got institutional buyers. We're not going to have those 4-year we're not going to have the 4-year cycles. And then what we see in the price action is we're pretty much following patterns. However, something is changing. Take it away. Tell us about it.
I just watched an interview with Willy Woo a few days ago. And for those of you who don't know Willy Woo, he's one of the top analysts in our industry. His ability to dive into the numbers and really look at what's going on in trends is just really well respected in the crypto space.
And he's a fellow Kiwi.
And he's a fellow Kiwi, which really raises his his persona in my books. Two of my best friends are Kiwi. The thing that I really love about Willy Woo is when he gets a hunch, he dives back into the numbers to see if the numbers actually support the hunch that he has. And one of the things he was talking about recently is with the whole 4-year Bitcoin cycle, the miners have played a significant role in how that cycle performs, right? Like when we see the halving, that triggers the bull run. When we see the hash rate recapitulations, we know that has a significant influence on the market. And he dove into the numbers and said, you know, up until this point, the miners have been a dominant holder of Bitcoin. Like when you look at where the whales are in the market and how much of the market the miners represent, they were pretty much the dominant force in the people holding Bitcoin. And that's no longer the case. The miners are now a much smaller percentage, and over time, they're going to become even smaller and smaller. So the ability of what's going on in the mining community and its ability to affect the price action of Bitcoin is going to significantly decrease as time goes on. Isn't that an interesting scenario, right? So his premise on all of this is that we may have seen our last 4-year Bitcoin cycle. Not that we might not still see peaks and valleys based on what's going on with the hash rate and the halving, but we probably won't be seeing these big blow off tops anymore. It may be more likely that we're just going to see, I think his words were a drunken wobble. And we might just see a drunken wobble upwards, right? So in other words, we'll still see peaks, we'll still see recapitulations. He premised that we might not see the 70% retracements that we used to see after the market tops. It might be more like we're just looking at 50% or even 30% in many cases. It also means, and he didn't talk about this, but given what he said, I'm presupposing that we could have a lot more altcoin seasons. Because of course, this is something Jeroen van Lange talks about a lot on his channel, The Blockchain Today, who's also one of our speakers at the Conscious Crypto event. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. But Jeroen talks about that when Bitcoin goes up or down, Bitcoin dominance is high. When Bitcoin goes sideways, that's when we see altcoin seasons, right? So when we watch the Bitcoin dominance, that's a clear indication of, yeah, we're going to get an altcoin season. So we might actually start to see an annual cycle for Bitcoin and an annual altcoin season. This is just a hunch on my part, not what Willy Woo said, if that's the case, right?
That is possible, Teresa.
Sorry, go ahead.
That is possible. I mean,
Yeah.
it's totally possible, because here's the thing. As the industry, and you often say this to me, this is a new asset class. And as altcoins and companies that are using the building utility is evolving. You just look at XRP. Every day there's good news coming out about XRP expanding. So as these companies expand, very much like the stock market, why would their price go down?
Yeah, exactly. And, Bitcoin is becoming the new gold. Like if you look at the way people are talking about it, how the markets are treating it, I shouldn't say is becoming, has become would be the better way to say that, right? Gold is no longer performing like gold. Bitcoin's performing like gold. So I think we should see a steady march upward. I like the Willy Woo expression, as a drunken wobble. So we will see retracements. But, one of the things I've been watching, if you don't mind me sharing my screen for a minute, is this miner's hash rate, right? Because usually when that flashes blue is when we see these giant peaks upward, right? So interesting, I might have to change my relationship to this indicator, because firstly, this is a much bigger dip than we've ever seen before, and it's been going on a lot longer. So isn't that interesting? Like this indicator is no longer performing the way it used to perform. So I do think this is going to continue to have an influence on the market. When this flashes blue, we're probably going to see a run up. Some of that might just be the habit of traders. Like we've gotten used to watching this in the Bitcoin market, and we've gotten used to seeing it as a signal. So sometimes things that are no longer actually real still have a residual of being real because everybody thinks they're real, right? And if everybody trades like it's real. But it'll be interesting to see how this indicator starts performing in future, because I think it might be more likely that it starts to predict some of the local peaks and valleys instead of the 4-year cycle that we're used to seeing. Because look, we've seen it twice this year, which that's not normal in a Bitcoin bull run.
Yeah, because you've been waiting to see that flash green in order to put
Yeah.
a really big trade in, but we're starting to go up, and it's not performing yet. So I mean, we'll see. We'll just have to monitor that and watch. But you,
Mhm.
Teresa, you were also saying that Willie Woo was talking about the miners don't have the same level of influence over the market because the market's grown. They're a smaller percentage of influence on the market. Not
Mhm.
only that, with the Chinese crackdown on miners, because most of the miners and the big mining pools were coming out of China, that has actually calmed their influence down, because they were doing, I remember at the beginning of the bull run, they were doing some massive manipulation and wicking down to ridiculously low prices to liquidate everybody, right?
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what evolves here from the standpoint of certain coins leading the pack. Like, we know ETH can be a clear pack winner. I can see we've got a lot of ETH fans because you guys have in your titles ETH is right in there. I love that. I'm a huge fan of ETH too. I'm going to be watching closely XRP and Cardano in the coming days. I think we have a lot more to see out of Cardano. And it'd be interesting to see whether they start to become pack leaders. Like, so when they're spiking, that they don't just spike on their own, but they pull the rest of the market up with them. So that'll be kind of fascinating to watch in the coming year. There's a lot of exciting things going on, and this is now turning into a mature market. And there's loads of money to be had in mature markets as there are with emerging markets. So this will be
Yeah.
really cool.
And the good news is that we may not have to wait another 2 years to go down into 80-90% recapitulation, and then 2 years to go up to the top again. So we'll see. I mean, this is why coming to our Conscious Crypto event in October is going to be really important, because one of the things we will be doing are bull exit strategies for the bull run as we go into the bear market, because it might be behave differently from what we have seen. So on the note of XRP is usually lags behind the pack, like it's a little bit independent. But at the moment, we've broken out of the big downward trend. We found our bottom. We did a double bottom here, and we've got this bull flag that we're just trading in, which could take us up to 87 cents. And then what that's on the daily. So on the daily, this is looking really cool. And then if you look at the 4 hourly, and there's a lot of rumors going on with XRP maybe reaching some kind of a settlement with there's a lot of Jeremy Hogan of Legal Briefs talks a lot about some background dealings going on, that something's just not right, something's up. So we could see a huge run. But what's great about XRP is it creates big channels that it trades in. So here's a long. You could long from the bottom of this channel to the top of this channel, because we've been coming up really nicely and respecting this. And you just want to look at the trajectory, and we've got bullish momentum here on the Ichimoku. Look at that green in front of us on the 4 hour. Conversion is above the baseline. And then if we go into the 4 EMA, and we're just starting to cross over the reds. Where are we? Here's the blue. We're starting to come back up here. So we're not quite out of the doldrums yet, but this is where I would go into the 1 hour. And we're still crossing over. We want to see blue, green, yellow, red. So we've got blue, green, yellow, but red's still on top. And we want to see that come down to the bottom. That will signify that we have a much bigger long incoming. And then if we go to the Ichimoku, see how we've got red in front of us. We could see a little bit more downward priceward action, reconfirm this as support, bounce off of that. I would be waiting for the green signal. So we haven't quite got the signal for a big long here. If you longed it down the bottom here and rode it all the way up as a scalper, and you were willing to go through all of these various different resistances, great, good for you. That's great. But if you're a little bit conservative, you don't want to lose your capital, you want to make sure you've got all that capital there for you for the bigger moves, that's what we want to see. We want to see blue, green in front of us for XRP. Anything else you want to say on that?
I just want to quote you, don't mess with the Ichimoku cloud.
Yeah.
You know, if the cloud's showing bearish, just be cautious. Like that's not a time to be adding to your trades unless you're in a short.
Yeah, it's starting to turn and twist. So what I would be doing is I would be watching it on the 1 hour, your 4 EMA, and to make sure that we've got that stacking of the blue, green, yellow, red. But it looks like it could happen in the next couple of hours. But there isn't a good entry point that's safe here, because
and be patient and wait for the entry point.
Yeah.
Just wait. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing we've been talking about with XRP is we're going out of the time frame of a bull flag, and this could just be a rising channel. We broke down and we almost got to the bottom. So we could say we might have fulfilled that. A rising channel breaks to the downside, goes back to where the candle touched. However, this came up so straight. The longer we go in the sideways, the more we've got the threat of coming down and fulfilling it, coming all the way back down to 63 cents and fulfilling that as a Bart Simpson. So that is what we want to watch out for. So what I do then is I'll just go to the 15-minute. Yeah, look, within the next hour or two, I think we could see a bit more down, and then we've got the Ichimoku cloud turning green. So that's giving us an indication that we're doing great there. Let's turn that off. And we've got blue, green, yellow, red. So we're stacked, ready for a long on the shorter time frame. You just have to be careful on the shorter time frame, because this can twist and turn more regularly. Look at this: twists here, twists there, twists there, twists there, right? Twists there. So if you're scalping, this is a very good indication to help you get out before the recapitulation happens. But we're gearing up for something really big, I think, for XRP. And just remember, we have already broken out of the really big pattern. Right? See this downward trending narrowing wedge? We've broken out. That big dip that we've just had could be the confirmation of this line here as support. And now we're bouncing back up. So the entry point, like a good entry point, would be to break out above this channel, above here, at around 78 cents, or wait for a couple of hours of green candles, or even a green candle on the 4 hourly with the Ichimoku cloud green ahead in front of you, and the 4 EMA stacked, the red, green, yellow, blue. Hang on a second. No, blue, green, yellow, red, being a bit dyslexic there. And then you could ride this up and see if it breaks to the upside and stay in the trade. Once it hits the top, of course, it could always reverse down. So that would be a profit-taking area. So that's one scenario you could do, because going back to the daily, the ultimate target for this whole move is going to be $1.96, which is not even the all-time high from last bull season, right, Teresa?
Sorry, I muted myself because there's a dog barking outside. Yeah, I think the all-time high is around $3 for XRP. So, there's a lot more room to go up here, especially when we see that SEC settlement. So yeah, that's a beautiful target. You want to be in an XRP trade right now. And what would be really cool is if you're in a trade and that announcement comes out, we're probably going to well exceed any targets in the market. So you can just stay in it, right?
Yeah. I have got this pink line, isn't a pattern, but we are respecting that, so we are right up against that resistance now. So if we break through and we get up to 70, 79, 78, 79 cents, I think that's looking really good overall on the long term for XRP. And then we've got the golden ratio at $1.28, but we have significant resistance here from, I think it's somewhere from about 92 cents all the way up to $1.08. Remember when we were in here and we just could not get above $1.08? And then that's when we came back down again. So just watch out for that if you're leaving a long open day after day after day to ride it all the way up to $1.96. We mentioned ADA, so let's go and have a look at ADA. I haven't looked at ADA for a while. And then we'll do Bitcoin. And we want to go back to Ethereum to end with, because somebody had asked me the question in a forum about bullish and bearish divergences. And we have some speculation around that, don't we?
Yeah.
So let's have a look at where we're at with ADA. Sorry, I haven't cleaned up my charts, so let me just delete all that and start again. For ADA, if we go there, follow our trend lines, we've broken out of that pattern. We've clearly found support here, clearly found support around $1, right? A few dips down below it, but that's obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. ADA's got a bearish divergence on the 4-hour, which just might mean we're coming back down to reconfirm that upper line now as support. It's not a really strong divergence. So
yeah, so we could come down a little bit longer. Let's have a look at that on the 4-hourly. But there's a W forming there as well, right? It's lagging behind Ethereum, but Ethereum is definitely leading it there. Look at that. It's right up against some resistance here.
yeah.
$1.38. So that is a rising channel, which breaks to the downside more often than it breaks to the upside. And the target is where, oh, actually, no, it's a narrowing.
Yeah, I think that's an upward rising wedge.
Yeah.
Which can break down.
Yeah.
A symmetrical triangular and upward rising wedge. So, and those last two peaks, if you look at those two peaks in this market, form a divergence on the RSI. So I have a feeling Cardano's looking awesome on the long-term horizon, but I have a feeling we're coming back down into the pattern before we break out here, that we're going to see somewhat of a recapitulation. We might even see, if this pattern breaks down, that it comes all the way down to that major support line that we just broke out of, reconfirms that, or well, it was a resistance line, but reconfirms that as support. And then we start the climb upward.
That's hard to tell though, Teresa, because it's ever so slightly, it's almost horizontal. It's ever so slightly lower, right? We've got the high here, slightly lower, slightly higher, and we've got the high here, and that's slightly lower.
Yeah. So none of these are super strong indicators, but my gut is saying of this smaller pattern, we're probably coming back into it before we break out of it.
Wouldn't that be a bullish divergence here to there? The RSI is going down and the price action's going up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Missed that one. So yeah, the one on top is bearish and the one on the bottom is bullish.
So I agree with Teresa. We've hit resistance and we've got rejected off of it. So we could come back down to test $1.40, $1.34, or even come back down to test the bottom of the pattern as support. We've got a few days here of trading before breakout, but the alarm you want to set is when we hit $1.38.8936 and we break above that. That would be a very good sign that we are continuing in this pattern to fulfill that daily pattern, because those big patterns on the daily usually take several days or weeks to fulfill, but they're more reliable than patterns on the shorter time frame. So we would be looking at the ultimate target being $2 here for that move. So if you get into ADA now and you ride it all the way up to $2, you're going to have some up and downs on the way. That's a very big move. What is that as far as a percentage goes? If we were to get the breakout here, ride it up to there, that's 440% at 10x leverage. Hey, Peter. Peter's here.
Yeah, Peter Medalik's here. Hi, Peter. Good to see you.
Awesome. So let's go back to Ethereum and check the divergences, because somebody had asked me, is there a bearish divergence on the 4 hourly? And we didn't do that. I didn't look at that before. So we have a higher high on the price action, and we have a lower high. So that is a bearish divergence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure bearish. Yeah.
So that what we need to watch out for when we break out of patterns, boom, we usually come back down to retest the previous resistance as support. We could come back down to 2569, maybe a little bit lower, possibly even fall back into the pattern, and then go back up again. So all the more reason to wait till we get above the golden Fibonacci, or wait for the retracement to enter this long. It's a little too late to jump in.
Here's another one that's a bit schizophrenic though, because there's also a bullish divergence here. If you go back to the peak, yep, right there, then we've got a lower low, but a higher low in the market.
Yeah.
So, so this is always interesting, because usually one of these divergences plays out on the short-term time horizon and the other plays out on the longer-term horizon, right? So that's kind of interesting. It's back to the previous peak, that the divergences.
Yeah. We saw that now.
Previous bottom, rather. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that for Bitcoin, right? When so what we're just noticing that if we have a bearish divergence on the top and a bullish divergence on the bottom, sometimes you get the recapitulation, a bounce, and you go back up into the bull. So they both play out. They're just stacked, one on top of the other. So we're just watching. We're watching that at the moment. Yeah. Awesome. Hey guys, love for you to like the live stream if you're getting value from it in particular. And if you've got questions, go ahead and ask them in the chat box. We're going to finish up with the grandfather of crypto. Do you call Bitcoin the grandfather?
We could just coin that as a new thing, the grandfather of crypto.
Anywho, we've got the significant resistance here to get through before we can really be bullish, but at least we're trading above 36,600, right? That's our new support line to break to see if we would go lower. We have a number of patterns playing out. First of all, this 2.5 month big triangle pattern has broken to the upside. This recapitulation here could be the retest of this as support, but we failed to go all the way down, and we found support at 36,600. That's what we want to watch for, because we've bounced back up now on the daily, right? So this is looking really good. We have the CME gap, which is at 41,925. So we could be going up to close that gap right now as we speak. Then we've got the golden ratio around 41,000. And we've got the pink line just above it, which is the top of the where we've just not been able to get above as resistance these whole few months. But the triangle that we've been in for a few months, the target there is 49,528. These are the same targets we had on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's live streams. Nothing's changed. The only thing that has changed is we could be calling this a bull flag. We've broken out of the bull flag. So there's another target of 47,858. And we've got the W, which is the ultimate at 53,343. And the neckline, we aren't above yet. We've got to get above this golden ratio to say that that W could be in play. Teresa, do you want to talk a little bit about strategies on taking profits? Because we've got a lot of stop points here on the way up to that higher target where you could be taking profit.
Yeah, well, it's a good idea to decide your strategy in advance. But one of the things I like to do is scale in and scale out of trades, because then as you're scaling in, you can be increasing your leverage, increasing the amount of risk on the trade because you've moved your stop loss into a profit, right? So it's a good idea to decide on your own formula. If I think we're in the midst of a much bigger trade, like, so if we're doing a smaller trade within a much bigger trade, my personal formula is 30% out at the target and add 70% back in when it retraces from the target. So that way I can scale up. But I think you need to determine a formula yourself and test it out, because I would not have used that formula in the last couple months and been profitable, because we've had so many failed targets, market turnarounds, busted patterns. So that's the scaling in and scaling out is something I do when we've got a clear bullish direction or a clear bearish direction, and then I'm doing smaller trades within the bigger one.
Yeah. So that could have looked like you could have entered here at 29. Oopsie. Oops. Ah.
Yeah, I hate it when TradingView has a mind of its own.
Yeah. Entered here at 29.99 or whatever it was, right down where this candle started to go up, and ridden it all the way up to the top, taken 70% or 75% or 80%, whatever you want to do, of profit out. So now you've got profit, and your stop loss could have been down here at 33,792 or wherever you choose to put your stop loss. And then when we recapitulated, you wouldn't have lost as much profit because you've already taken the chunk of profit out, and then you re-enter the trade with the 70% that you took out, or depending on
or more, because now that your stop loss is in profit, it's like you're entering in an entirely new trade.
Yeah,
you're just keeping some of that profit in from the lower section, right?
Exactly. And even though you enter in at 38,600, for example, because you've still got 20 to 25% in from down here at 29,000, it pulls your entry point down. So you've dollar cost average down, so that you've got a lower entry point for the second trade, and then you ride it up to the second resistance, which could be here at 47,000. Take 70% out, leave 20% in, it retraces, add more, and come back in. And that way, as you're following the market up to these higher prices, you're actually getting the profit out and not losing it as we recapitulate, but you're leaving some in so that you get that greater percentage increase. That's just one strategy, right?
And under your risk management strategy, because I did a video for you guys on how to determine how big each trade should be, so that you're always taking the same percentage risk. I created a Google spreadsheet for you to help you calculate that. So that's in a previous video. We'll include the link to that in this video if you want to go watch it. My personal number is I risk 2.5% of the money in my trading account on any one trade. If it's an all-in trade, I go up to 5% or 10%, like if I'm super confident in the trade, right? So once the stop loss of that trade is in profit, you can take some out, but when you find a new entry point, it's like a whole new trade. So you can still put that 2.5% risk back in. So you're now not adding the amount you took out, you're adding a whole new trade. So the trade's getting bigger as you're following the market up, right? And to the point where, if you've got some super confident breakouts, then you can really start to get a very big trade at low risk.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why Nicola's number is a little different than mine, but that's why when there's a dominant, bigger direction, I only take 30% out at the smaller targets and add a whole new trade back in if this stop loss is in profit down here from the bigger trade.
And I think a lot of it depends on how big your position is, because you generally have bigger positions than me. So if you've got a bigger position, there's greater profit at the dollar level. But if you've got smaller positions, you have to weigh up the fact that fees come out of that. And so the profits aren't as much. So you might have, like, for example, I might put 5% in or 10% in terms of the margin in the size of the trade, rather than 2% or 5%, which is what Teresa does, because she has bigger positions in the market.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons I like to trade with Bybit's inverse futures, because they don't charge funding fees on those. They have a defined end date. So as you're getting close to that end date, you want to switch over to a different futures. but there's a lot lower fees if you're keeping trades open. So I prefer trading on those ones if
Yeah, we
if it's an
totally need to
option.
do a tutorial
So,
video on that because that's a new
yeah,
feature by Bit.
yeah.
We've got a tutorial and a review coming up on Prime XBT that's going to be uploaded later today as well. And Prime XBT is has some really good features as well. And all the links below that are below. But let's have a look at this Bitcoin trade. We're heading to 42,614 because we came down, we've broken out of this downward channel and we've broken to the upside. And the target is where the first candle touches the top of the wedge formation, which is up here at this resistance line. We are going to meet resistance as we hit the golden ratio at 41 to 42. And as Teresa said before, many of our targets we've been falling short of and not getting there. So this is a big test area. This whole area here, lot of resistance. Let me just do that. Lot of resistance to get through. So just be aware if you're
That's
longing.
the universal symbol for resistance.
You're like from basically from 40,000 up to 43,000. And you can see how we've had this big, huge run up, and now we've run into this, we've run into this resistance, and we've given you the targets. But now let's look at the Ichimoku cloud is looking like it could go sideways and consolidate a little bit. If we pull that out and we put in the 4MA, we're getting a crossover. Right, red's coming down to the bottom, blue's heading up to the top. So we are getting ready for a bigger long. And if we've got the volume down here at the bottom, we've got the CM Williams VIX going green, candle after candle after candle, which is a warning signal that we're about to have a big long, right? As in a big run. Then come down into the 1 hour, and yeah, you can see, look, the blues come on top of the 4EMA and the reds crossing the green to head back down to the bottom. So as soon as the red's at the bottom and we're stacked blue, green, yellow, red, then that is a big long position signifying we do have a bigger bull run coming. If you get in before that happens, because it can always reverse, then you're running the risk of this candle coming all the way back down here to retest this support as support, or even this I put in here that this was a descending triangle, and that means that you could have you're going to lose all of that profit. You're going to sit in red and you're going to be paying fees for that loss, when you could get a better position once it bounces off here, or a better entry point once we've got through the resistance.
I love that you have a bird cheering you on right now. We have a lot of birds here in Vista Mundo, Costa Rica, in our community that we're developing.
So guys, if you're new to our channel, we're uploading tutorial videos on technical analysis, how to use the different tools in trading, and scenarios, mindset, the psychology, as well as the whole consciousness conversation on this channel. We're doing that daily. We've got live streams now. We're going to be live streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which are key moments in the market. So please subscribe, hit the bell, click all so you get notified when we're going to go live. And we, of course, we would love for you to hit that like button, so that we know that what we're giving is value for you, and that gives us the energy and excitement to keep giving that value. Anything else we want to say? Oh, finally, go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket to Conscious Crypto, especially if we're in a period of the market fundamentally changing, right? Lots of people talking about we may be moving into a super cycle. We may no longer be seeing these 4-year doldrums. Bitcoin could just be moving steadily up. I mean, I like Willie Woo's quote on that it might become a drunken wobble. Yeah, you need to change your mindset as a trader. And one of the most important things in the world of trading is understanding the psychology and the mindset and the broader forces that are at play. And we're going to dive deep into these conversations at this event.
Yeah, totally. And even though it's in October, and I know there's a lot of laggers, this is an event that's live on Zoom, which means when the seats fill up, the tickets stop sales. We're anticipating that we will sell out way before October. We've got a lot of speakers that are promoting the event, and also the price is going to start going up. As the early bird specials, we've got several early bird specials between now and September, and so each time you lag, you're going to be paying more as the price goes up. And right now, we've got till the 15th of August to get your ticket before it goes up. Here are the speakers that we've got confirmed so far. We do have other speakers that we're just waiting on final confirmation. And the whole structure of it, if you aren't familiar, is that we're going to be doing 1 hour workshops with key speakers. Da Vinci J is going to be talking about little strategies that give big results, actually walking you through how to put that strategy together. Michael Rosmer is going to be talking about how to go offshore, so you're minimizing taxes and putting together international structures so that, so that all your crypto profits don't end up going to the tax man or woman in this case. We've got mind hacking and emotional mastery in trading. So important. If your emotions are making your decisions, you're more than likely going to lose more than you'll win. So Cian and Stephanie together are going to lead us through some very important processes to help you master that. I'm going to be talking about how to break bad trading habits and patterns of loss by removing emotional triggers. And I've got a special Fibonacci method of emotional trigger release, which is very similar to, when you hit resistance in the trading on the Fibonacci level and then you hit support. And there are certain things you do in trading when you hit those levels. Well, there are certain things you need to do when you hit those levels emotionally and with your triggers and trading as well. And I'll talk you through that, teach you that. Then we've got Jeroen van Lange from the Blockchain Today, Marcel Money, talking specifically about technical analysis and looking outside of the square to find out what's going on with price action and making predictions, as well as risk management. Then we've got these amazing expert forums. And we've got Didi Taihutu who's going to be talking about automating trade signals. We're going to have forums on the best indicators to use, how to use them. Bull run, end of year predictions and exit strategies is going to be a super important panel now. Da Vinci J is going to be there, digital asset news, Rob from there. And we've got a mystery guest, which we can't confirm right now until they've said yes. And then we're going to be talking about the tax structures inside your own country, as well as going digital. And most important, do you want to talk about Didi here? He's going to be talking about Bitcoin bankless and borderless.
I'm fascinated with how Didi Taihutu has set up his life. He's the Bitcoin family, and he's now living completely without fiat currency, which is astounding. And he's a real forerunner in this conversation. And I think, like, he was telling us there's so much you can't say on YouTube, but I'm so excited and so fascinated to hear what he has to say at this workshop. I think this is going to be one of the best sessions we have, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. And Emery is an international tax consultant and an American tax consultant, and he is going to be talking about America regulations coming down the pipeline and how that might affect internationals. So it doesn't matter what country you're from, that's going to be incredibly valid. We're also going to be doing a lot about what mindset you need to put in place in order to manage your mind during the dips and clearing FUD and FOMO, so you're making the best decisions in trading. What are you going to do with all that Bitcoin? Because you're going to need to do something with it. And depending on what you do with it is going to be depending on whether you're going to keep most of it or you're going to have to pay a whole lot of taxes. Then we're going to be talking about balancing your portfolio with top picks of altcoins, DeFi, and NFTs. We've got Crypto Wendy joining the panel here for that. And then we've got the super special consciousness crypto breakout that I spoke about. This is where we're going to do this at the end. So those of you who are brave enough to want to come in and learn about the secrets of the universe and how you can harness those to become better at trading and also better in your life in general, living that legendary life. We've got some awesome speakers here. Sian and Stephanie will join us for this again, talking about the consciousness secrets of the ancients they're using in their crypto trading. And then we've got Osher from Astro Finance, who predicts price actions well ahead of time because of the astrological aspects. And, you know, we talk about Saturn and Mercury retrograde here. He goes into a heck of a lot more detail, so he'll be showing you his formula there. And then we've got networking with like-minded others, the Zoom conference way. You know, when you go to these live events, you make friends, you do backroom deals, you get business, you find out insider information. We want to duplicate that online. We don't want people to just be speaking at you for 3 days. We want to have interaction. We're going to be doing some facilitated networking, breakout sessions. We're going to be doing breakouts in the break. So when you go off to get your coffee or whatever the drink is that you have, we drink kombucha here, then you can come back, and in front of you, there's going to be a smaller group of people, and it'll be a different group of people in every single breakout, so that you can get to meet the other participants, talk with them, share resources, possibly even do a little bit of business. So we're not going to lose that flavor of connection, which I think is really important, Teresa. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, this is this event is a fundraiser to raise money for infrastructure projects here for our community in Costa Rica. We know you guys have lost more than this on individual trades. Maybe it's time you invest in yourself and take your trading to a whole new level.
Totally. And on that note, the full price of the ticket for 3 days of workshops is only $747. But if you get it now before the 15th of August, it's $247 for the early bird. If you want the VIP pass, which gives you extra privileges during and after the conference, it's an extra $147 for that. That's $395. Those prices go up 15th of August. And then they go up again in September and again in October. Until you leave it last minute, you'll be paying that $747. So you kind of, and we may sell out before we even get to that price, Teresa, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Zoom lines can only take up to a certain number of people. So
yeah, so we do have to cut it off. So that is the very first conscious crypto event online that you want to be participating in. Lots of exciting things happening between now and then, and certainly lots of things exciting happening after that. So we'll see you there. We've got here fantastic insights, overview, and value. Thanks so much. You saved me from FOMOing in. Yes, that's what we want to do.
Love to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, Namibia. We've got somebody from Namibia.
I know, that's cool. This is a really beautifully international call. That's exciting.
Totally. So guys, the website to go to is theconsciouscryptoevent.com/2021. You don't have to remember it. The link is below in the description of this video. If you just go there now, scroll down, click the link there, head on over and get your ticket right away. And we'll be seeing you on Friday as we start going into weekend trading, right?
Yeah, beautiful. Going to be an exciting month. That's for sure. I can't wait to see where we are in 30 days. That'll be cool.
And until we meet again, guys,
trade consciously.
Awesome. Longer watch time.